certain common aspects that run through the entire 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 levels are holistic development with a focus on each child's unique ability, emphasis on conceptual understanding, creativity, thinking skills, and life skills, use of technology, nurturing ethical behavior, values, and orientation to respect traditions, both one's own and others. That is, be global while being rooted. With specific focus on 9 to 12, the following are stressed upon: flexibility in terms of choosing the learning trajectory based on their aptitude and interest, no separation between arts and science, extracurricular and co-curricular activities, possibility of multidisciplinary studies, focus on vocational education, assessment for concept testing rather than knowledge testing. This will lead to a shift from rote learning to understanding. With respect to the current scenario in education, be it a parent or a student, the following questions keep troubling them. The curriculum is outdated. What we are studying now is not in line with the current market requirements. What is the point of my professional degree if my job is not aligned with my passion or interest? Why do I need to study a compulsory subject I don't even like? Why is the syllabus so vast? All I do is cram up information, which is of no use in my life. These are questions that we all have been hearing for a very long time. And our schools are battling to make two important lines meet. One, their intention to provide holistic education. Second, the framework from the affiliating body. And not an easy task to make these two lines meet. The solution to this dilemma is our NEP 2020, which is very student-centric. And all that is required is to ensure effective implementation. And how can that happen? Through a change in mindset. The major inclusion, in my opinion, is a focus on vocational streams. The reason why I felt I need to stress on that is it's a very welcome move. Why are we restricting ourselves to just nurturing engineers, lawyers, doctors, and chartered accountants? All of us talk of dignity of labor. But as a community, we have never focused much on vocational education. In fact, many of our schools had vocational education. But somewhere, the spirit got lost. And when we didn't have adequate number, those groups were gradually withdrawn. It became a stream of education for the not so intelligent group of children. So schools which had science, commerce, and humanities became the best schools. Probably this shift in thought of exposing our students to varied vocations, giving them opportunities of hands-on experience in terms of internship will help in dignifying the whole understanding of the word labor, and also support them choose the best for themselves in terms of their competencies. All this sounds nice as theory. At the same time, we also need to look at this aspect from an Indian context. Abroad, all vocational fields are viewed with the same respect. In India, it's not so. One may enjoy indulging in a vocation, but may not want to take that up as a profession. They will do it because it gives them a lot of enjoyment, but would never want to pursue it as a profession. Then, the schools now need to prepare themselves to handle this heterogeneous group. That is actually the challenge which we are going to face. When you look at the words in the NEP, very simple. We need to have vocational education. So let's start 4 groups. But how are we going to make it effective? The spirit of vocational education is, can a child or a student take it later as a way of living, if required, or keep it as a hobby through which he is able to productively use his time? So how are we going to make our curriculum? How are we going to plan our curriculum so that we are able to address this heterogeneous group's need? Next, another important shift is in terms of assessment. The new educational policy aims to reduce the pressure of students appearing for class 10 and 12 board exams. All of us know the pressure that they go through. The board exams, we hope, will focus on testing concepts and knowledge application, not just on content. Though the board exam for 10 and 12 will continue, the entire existing system of board and entrance examination shall be reformed to eliminate the need for undertaking coaching. This coaching is actually a nuisance for students. It kills the joy of the childhood period. So probably this new assessment method is going to attack this menace of coaching class. The assessment of students appearing for the board exam will also be done through multi-dimensional reports. Normally now our reports are only based on the teacher's assessment. So this multi-dimensional report is a very holistic approach. It will reduce subjectivity to a great extent. Apart from the teacher's assessment, the progress card will include self-assessment and peer assessment. This will shift the mindset from preparing for exams to learning for self. If we go through the NEP 2020 policy in depth, every aspect of NEP seems to be an answer for various questions that we all have been having in our mind in terms of quality of education. Then where is this concern coming? Why are all of us talking about the need to understand the policy in spirit? Why is there so much a worry on how are we going to implement it? NEP 2020 is only a tool. Just a tool is not going to help us solve our problems. Now, it is for us to use this tool very effectively and bring about the desired results. The responses that we get for what should we do, how do we need to do it, who has to do it with respect to every word of the NEP is the beginning of the shift in terms of our thinking pattern and behavior. This is not only applicable to schools. This is applicable to all stakeholders who are connected with education. What I mean is publishers, authors, everyone has to start looking at the spirit of NEP 2020. Only then we will find a place for that even in our textbooks. So it's not just the school. This shift or this change cannot come across just if schools start taking it seriously. Every individual associated with an institution needs to understand NEP 2020 in the true spirit, every word well understood. That will only help us bring this shift. When we look at it from a school level, that is the implementation team level, the baton is with the head of the institution and the teachers. The expectation from a teacher in terms of implementation of NEP 2020 would be a shift from telling to facilitating. At this point, there is a story that comes to my mind. I love telling stories, so it would be unfair if I leave the forum today without telling one. So when it comes to telling and facilitating, I'm sure all of you know this story of a young man who's very upset when he sees a butterfly struggling to come out of a cocoon. So he breaks the cocoon, and in the process, the butterfly is underdeveloped. Present-day education, to a great extent, due to the demand for need for performance, many of us are breaking the cocoons for our children, because of which they remain underdeveloped. What are we looking at in terms of a shift for a teacher? The teacher as a facilitator who's going to watch the students experiment, make mistakes, struggle, build internal strength in terms of knowledge, skill, and attitude. This teacher needs to be very, very patient, supportive, and encouraging, and allow every student to break the cocoon at his or her pace. This is very easily said, but this change requires tremendous courage. This is a major change which none of us can overlook. Changing and becoming a facilitator is the toughest part which our schools will have to work on. Our focus at this point needs to be on empowering our teachers to transform into facilitators and make the required changes in terms of infrastructure, strength, etc., and create an environment that enables us implement NEP 2020 in true spirit. Simultaneously, get all the stakeholders, as I mentioned earlier, into a thinking mode of understanding the intent of this framework. When all of us read the policy, words are very easily understood, not very difficult. For understanding the intent, all of us need to go a bit more deeper. If we take that little effort, surely the entire landscape of Indian education will transform to what we all have been dreaming of. I would like to leave you all with this thought and wish each one of you success in this journey of enhancing quality of education and wishing that our dreams for our children come true. Thanks once again for giving me this opportunity to share my views.